G'day there guys, my name's Marky and welcome back to some more stories from Reddit. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Am I the arsehole for not caring if my brother has changed and feels bad about how he treated me growing up? I'm 19 male, my brother is 21 and is my only sibling. So I realized I was gay from a young age and came out at 14. My parents were supportive from the get-go, but my brother was absolutely not. He tried telling me that I wasn't, or that I was just trying to get attention, and tried to get me to change my mind. When that failed, he called me a freak, diseased, says that I was going to hell, even though we aren't that religious, and made it clear that he didn't want a relationship with me. He outed me at school. My friends already knew, and tried to get others to join in, but no one really cared, and nothing much changed. Needless to say, I vowed to limit contact with him as much as possible. But the comments continued until he moved out when he turned 18 for school. I've since gotten into a great school and have completed a year and a half. I'm in a relationship, my grades are the best they've ever been, and everything seems to have fallen nicely into place. My brother sent me a Facebook message back in August. He started by apologizing for how he treated me, saying he was depressed before and was stuck inside his own head / fell into the wrong crowd online that reinforced his bitterness towards others. He said he had gotten treatment for his depression, feels more confident than he has in years, and was on the upswing and wanted to meet up to repair our relationship. He said he was proud of me for being gay and supported me and apologized for taking so long to make it known. I didn't respond. Nor did I respond to his happy birthday message in September. Then he started texting me, saying he understands if I'm still hurt, but that he would love nothing more than to make up for the hurt that he caused. I haven't responded to these either. Here is where my boyfriend says I'm the asshole. Over the holidays, we were all back at my parents' house. I had a great time seeing my family, except him. Every time he'd ask about me or try to talk to me, I'd give him one-word answers or clam up. He offered to get a game for me as a gift, but I declined. He pulled me aside to apologize face-to-face, reiterating the stuff that he said before, but I also cut that short and walked away. Meanwhile, I talked with my parents like normal and was very open with them about the happenings of my life, typically within earshot of him. The day that we left, I said my goodbyes and found him by my car crying. He said he understands why I'm closed off to him and that he regrets how it turned out, wished me well, and went inside. I told my boyfriend about this when I got back, and he's pissed and called me an asshole. Boyfriend says it's clear my brother feels badly about how he used to be, and he's changed, and that to throw it all back in his face is a dick move. My parents agree and say he's a good person, but ultimately feel that it's up to us. Personally, I've gotten so used to the idea of not having a brother that I don't know if there is anything left to salvage. He made his choice to sabotage me then. Is it really my problem that he regrets his actions now? Am I the arsehole? In the comments, you're the arsehole. Isn't this the best case scenario? A bigot had a change of heart and regrets their past actions. That's the goal with every bigot that I come across. He cannot change the past, but he can try to make up for it. You don't need to forgive him, but it might be worth hearing him out to see if he really has changed. OP replies, I know he isn't homophobic anymore if that's what you mean, but why should I have to be the one to take the time and energy to hear him out? No assholes here, at this point anyway. Of course, you don't have to forgive your brother just because he's asked for forgiveness, and forgiving him doesn't mean that you have to have a relationship with him just because he wants one. But not knowing if there is anything to salvage is different from being sure that you want nothing to do with him. At the very least, you might want to consider explaining to him why this is not a thing that he can make up for, and seeing how he responds so you can decide whether you're really done with him or not. OP replies, the worst part is, I actually think I want to forgive him. It's just each time I go down that path, I'm left thinking about all that could have been had he not been a dick in the first place, which makes me resentful knowing that any relationship we build now will be inferior to the one that we had when we were kids. And honestly, that's worse than acting like I don't have a brother at all, to be honest. No assholes here, but I think you're cutting off your nose to spite your face. Your brother is putting in the effort to seek you out, honestly apologize, and admit that he was wrong and rebuild your relationship. You're right in that he's not entitled to your forgiveness, but later in life, it's possible you could bitterly regret rejecting this olive branch. OP says, I'm just so mad at him. I just want to tell him that he can take that branch and shove it. Why don't you say something like, while I accept the apology and understand your desire to make amends, I'm still angry about the trauma that I experienced at your hands and am not interested in having a relationship with you right now. If you want to make amends, consider donating money or time to an organization that fights homophobia. OP replies, each time I have to talk with him I clam up and can't do more than a few words. You can write him a letter or send him a text if it's too difficult to express yourself in person. These are good options. OP, it sounds like you both would benefit from a relationship therapist. Even though they usually work with couples, they know how to help with family relationships as well. It's okay to still feel angry even though your brother has changed and tried to make amends, but I also agree with the commenter who says that you were cutting off your nose to spite your face. You are denying yourself a potentially rewarding relationship and healing experience with your brother, and based on your edits, your inflexible anger has given your significant other pause. That said, you shouldn't have to just bottle up your feelings. You deserve to express your anger in a constructive way and have it validated. There's not much chance for this to resolve itself otherwise. If it's within your means and inclination, call some therapists that specialize in relationships and ask them hypothetical questions about how they would advise someone in a similar situation to yours. And then choose the one that seems like the best fit and ask your brother to go with you. Someone else says, I'm going to be your ghost of Christmas future. Similar situation, 49 male, gay, with a straight brother 2 years older. But the relationship breakdown reasons are completely different. They aren't always, though. Without going into details, because it would be too long of a discussion, I'll just reveal what your future might look like. I've not talked to my brother in over 20 years now. I've got college-age nephews that I've never met. We live in different parts of the country from each other and our parents. My parents are always upset about the situation, which just causes distance with them so I don't have to deal with their guilt and pain. It also isn't something that I discuss with my husband either, so he just stays out of it. Is this the future that you really want? I used to really hate it when I was a kid and was told that I'd feel differently about things as an adult, but the reality is that it's true. The person you're angry with that hurt you is gone, and that probably just causes even more anger. Others have already said that holding on to that pain is a poison, and I think that's also true. I don't think you're being an asshole, just kind of mean. Probably because it now feels good and justified because of what happened. I'm sorry for what you went through and are still going through. You didn't do anything to deserve it. I'd sound like a hypocrite for giving you any real advice. This post has really stirred up a lot of emotions and reflections for me. Looking back, I'm not proud of myself. I'll just say that I think you've been given a gift though. Any opportunity to get your real brother back, who you've not really met yet, I wish you luck and hope that you can heal. Back up to the post, there is an edit. So my boyfriend just texted and said that how I handled this thing has him questioning things, and that he thinks that we should take a step back for a while. So that's cool. What's going on with your partner there? Why are they being so manipulative towards you in this situation? Oh, if you don't take him back and immediately forgive him, I'm gonna break this relationship up. Bit weird and bit of a red flag right there. Maybe taking a step back is the best thing that you can do right now with him because, sheesh, geez Louise. Ultimately, in this situation, your significant other, your family, everyone, they can voice their opinions to you. Absolutely, they can tell you how they feel about the situation and what they think is the right thing to do, but they don't really get a vote in what you actually do decide to do here. I think it's a no assholes here situation because I believe, given what you've said about your brother, that he has genuinely changed, and what the Ghost of Christmas Future has in store for you, you may end up regretting not giving him that chance and hearing him out, and seeing if he has genuinely changed and what your relationship with him can be like. But at the same time, you have free will, you have free choice. You can not do that if you want to. Though who knows what the consequences of your actions will be either way. The Ghost of Christmas Future can't even tell that right now. And now, onto the update. So it's been a few months since my first post, and since a few people were asking, I thought I owed you an update. I would have provided one sooner, but this is a throwaway, and I'd logged out earlier. The fact I remember the password is itself a miracle. The TLDR of the last post was I had ignored my brother's attempts to have a relationship with me after the homophobic shit that he threw at me when we were younger. I'm glad to say that's no longer the case. A little after my last post, I texted him that I appreciated his words, but that his actions had really hurt me and that I needed time. He texted back he understood and to take as much time as I needed. He also thanked me for reaching back out to him. I spent a lot of January and February in self-reflection and trying to figure out what I wanted. Lots of people in the last post said that I needed therapy, and I agree that I likely did. I never ended up seeing a professional, but I got really into some guided meditation and calming exercises I saw on YouTube. Making a habit of it helped me realize how much weight I was carrying, and has helped me start to let that weight down. I still have some ways to go, but I can feel my empathy growing, and I like that. I went home for spring break and saw my bro for the first time since Christmas. Long story short, we spent a lot of time hanging out, and our relationship is recovering. We had some hard conversations, cried, shared a couple joints, etc., and I came away from the break feeling much better about everything. And since each of our schools have closed down due to the pandemic, we're both back at home doing our classes remotely and hanging out on the downtime. I want to thank those of you who said that I'd probably regret cutting him out, because I can tell you that you were right. My brother isn't perfect and did many things to purposefully hurt me, but people can change if they want to, and he did. I wouldn't want to be judged by my lowest point, and I'm working on not judging him by his. I finally have my brother back, and forgiving him has helped me feel better in ways that I didn't realize I needed. Thank you. Edit. Holy what? I step away from this to do homework for a couple of hours and y'all gave me awards? Thank you so much. To answer some common questions, no, my boyfriend from the OP and I are no longer together, but for separate reasons unrelated to the original post. We just wanted different things and were at different stages of our lives, but it was a parting with minimal hard feelings. I don't consider his reaction to be manipulative. It wasn't a hard do this or we're through. So why did my brother do it? Well, there's no one reason. He was in a dark place and dealing with a lot of issues in a bad way. He was ignorant about a lot of LGBT stuff and relied on that ignorance when it came to me. It took a while and going off to college/meeting new people for him to begin questioning a lot of things he believed. And since getting help for his unresolved issues, it was a step-by-step process until he saw how wrong he was. He said he didn't even realize how what he was doing was hurtful a lot of the time because he was so in his own head and had some really bad influences on the internet reinforcing his mindset. I can understand that, and I love how far he's come. Why didn't our parents intervene even though they always had my back? Well, they did a lot of the time, but most of what he said or did wasn't in their presence, and I was not one to go running to them each time I was the victim of something. They're good people, and I hold no animosity to what they might have done instead. I'm thinking about showing my brother this and the previous thread so he has a better understanding of how I felt about this and may update later on how that goes. Also, I just want to say to others out there who feel they've been repeatedly wronged by someone to the point they want to cut them off, that I know exactly how you feel. But the fact is that people can change if they want to, and even if they do, you're under no obligation to welcome them back into your life. But if you can find it in your heart, I'd strongly encourage you to give them a fair shot at doing so. People do messed up things, sometimes many times or for many years before they realize it and feel remorse. We're all only human. In the comments, Guy with Stick says, "It's hard for me to find a reason to forgive family that purposely hurts family. Strangers I can understand, but family is the core of trust. Breaking that trust usually causes a domino effect that outperforms the original behavior. I don't plan on ever forgiving my brothers. It's a trap." OP says, "I understand where you're coming from. Consider this if you would. In my opinion, there's much more reason to forgive a family member than a stranger. Injury from family hurts more than an injury from someone you barely know. Like you said, Family's supposed to be the bedrock of trust, and breaking it can cause a lot of subsequent harm. And while your birth family is who you're stuck with by virtue of being alive, they are by no means your real family. You choose who that is. I'm fortunate enough that the family I've chosen is also the one that I was born into, but many aren't so lucky. The fact is that humans can be assholes, idiots, and selfish to the point that they hurt those they're around. Sometimes on purpose, and sometimes without even realizing it. But even if you choose your own family, the one you're born into knows you very well. You have memories that no one else has. You've shared experiences that no one else has. And even if you've cut them off for good reason, holding on to hate towards them or wishing them misfortune will have a corrosive effect on your own well-being. Not forgiving a stranger just isn't the same. The hate is just as corrosive, but it's much less relevant to you as a person and much less intimate a situation than hate to a family member. Being angry at a stranger is like holding a red-hot screw. Being angry at a family member is like having a red-hot screw between your heart and your lungs. You don't need to have a relationship with anyone if you don't want, not even your birth family. You don't need to make people feel better if you think they don't deserve it, but I urge you to look at the baggage that you carry inside. Baggage which may well have been thrust onto you through no fault or choice of your own, and slowly allow yourself to let it down. Forgiveness isn't about saying everything is okay or back to where it was. It's about allowing yourself to heal from the damage others caused and to leave it in the past. It's a very intimate thing to experience, but a very scary thing to even try. But I encourage you to take a chance if you can. You owe it to yourself, and who knows what can come from it. Common Sense Used replies, I'm glad that you are one of the lucky few who were lucky enough to mend relationships. OP says, thank you. I look back at my comments from the original, and it's clear that I wasn't in the best place. I can only hope it keeps looking up. Are you and your boyfriend still together? OP says, oh, I forgot to mention this, didn't I? No, we're not together anymore, but for unrelated reasons. We just weren't a good fit and wanted different things. Sorry to hear that you're no longer together, as I'm sure that hurt, but I do want to say that him threatening your relationship because you didn't want to immediately forgive your brother did feel a little manipulative. Family is hard, and your brother wronged you. I'm so glad to hear that he has genuinely changed and that you've been rebuilding your relationship. But it's my opinion that while significant others can voice their opinions, they don't get a vote or to make their word law when it comes to your family. I'm wishing you and your brothers all the best. That's one interpretation, sure, but I read it more as the way my significant other handled this situation has given me more information about how they handle certain other situations, and that makes me want to reevaluate the relationship. Which was honestly my first interpretation of that as well, being like, whoa, if this is how he reacts to someone that he believes has burned him in the past and is making a sincere attempt at reconnecting with them, how's that going to work out in our relationship? But the more perspective you get on this situation, the more you can see it's not like that, but I can understand the partner was probably working with limited resources. He was only getting OP's perspective on the drama, and OP, self-admittedly, was in a dark place. A little extra to the end of the post here, OP commented on another post similar to his own experience 2 months later, and says, I saw this on my main and logged into my throwaway for this. I just wanted to say that I'm very proud of you and all the progress you've made. Mental illness is itself hell. But adding on the stigma of it, and it becomes almost torture. You've handled those challenges with more determination and resolve than most people ever would, and I'm extremely proud of you for that. I'm commenting because I had a similar situation to yours. My brother was also mean to me over the years, and he treated me like absolute dirt. Take a look at my post history if you want the full story. All I would say is that you should do what is right for you. People can change, and it's possible your brother has spent some of the time that you were working on yourself doing the same. It's also possible he still is and always will be a douche. Have you considered meeting him somewhere to talk just the two of you and tell him what you need to tell him? Is there a way that you could write a letter to him or something and let him know what specifically he did that is making you want to say no to reconnecting? Your relationship with him will always be lacking and detached if you never explicitly air out your grievances with him. You can always cut him out of your life at a later time, but you won't be able to communicate with him like this once you do. So maybe it's a good thing to think about. Even if it doesn't work, you'll be no worse off than you are now. But of course, look out for your own needs first and do what you think is best for you. Best of luck. Our next post is by user Bellavent, titled, "My boyfriend did not give me the first slice of cake." I, 20 female, am from Brazil, and here it's tradition that in a birthday party, the person whose birthday is being celebrated gives the first slice of cake to their favorite person after everyone sings the birthday song. This week was my boyfriend's, 24 male, and he had 3 celebrations, one with his birth family, one with his adoptive family, and one with friends, which was a surprise picnic that I planned and organized. He has had a very difficult life, and his mums are really important to him, as the adoptive mum saved him from starving as a kid and raised him, giving him a chance at life, and his birth mum battled very hard against poverty all her life, struggling and fighting to keep her kids alive and well. So of course, I never expect him to give me the first slice of cake at the family celebrations, but then there was the picnic. I spent weeks planning and reaching out to all of his childhood friends, making sure they would come. I went to bed at 2 a.m. the night before, making him his favorite cake. I spent a shit ton of money on food, drinks, and gifts. I did not do it because of the first slice, of course, but at all times, I couldn't help but think, now it's my turn. Turns out, it was not. He has a best friend of many years. She and him are like brother and sister. They went through a lot of shit together, like losing her mum, him not having food to eat at home as a teenager, and even though they are so close, they don't get the chance to see each other very often now, as they both are very busy with life and all its shit. So of course, he took the chance to show her some appreciation. She was so happy, and of course, I understood the situation. He sees me every day, and has the chance to honor me almost daily. He always makes me feel really loved and all, and he can't do that with her. Also, I understand that he wanted to show her that him having a relationship does not mean that she is not his sister anymore. A priority in that sense. I am not jealous, because I know there is nothing romantic between them. As she's pretty gay and polygamous, he is the most monogamous guy in the world, and he worships me. But I couldn't help but at least feel a bit, I don't know. Do I need to explain? Maybe disappointed, maybe unappreciated. I feel like I can never be the most important person in the room. We always talk about getting married. We are each other's life, and still, get me? And also, he did this in front of everyone, in front of all of our mutual friends who don't really know her and all she means to him. So I also felt kind of embarrassed. I'm just venting. I want to go home and cry a bit. I know I'm being childish, but I guess I will keep it that way for now. In the comments, RichAd4654 says, "Your feelings are valid, OP. You can be both understanding and hurt at the same time. I'm not prone to overreaction, and I'd struggle not to feel hurt. You sound like you have a great relationship with your boyfriend. Share how you're feeling, and importantly, show him that emotion. Not out of spite, but because if he's in it for the long haul with you, you can't save or spare him from that. He should see you in all your vulnerability to know how deeply this went for you. Good luck, and keep us posted." OP says, "That was great advice. Thank you for validating also. That's interesting. I thought it was universal that the first slice of cake goes to the birthday person. I'm not from Brazil, but my family has always practiced this, and it's deemed rude to eat any cake before the birthday person has their first bite. Anyways, I would likely feel some type of way about that as well. It's nice to feel prioritized by your partner." OP says, "I found out that it's not worldwide very recently. It was quite a shock too. When I first heard about it, it was from that video of the 2 boys. The one who starts crying almost immediately upon receiving the cake. It seemed like a very nice tradition." Yeah, I've seen that one too. That was like crazy viral. It's like, this boy didn't expect to get the cake from his brother, but as soon as he does, he starts crying immediately and hugging him. That's if that isn't, that's probably a Dylan Anderson like YouTube short, right? This young girl didn't know what to expect when she opened the door, but when she went inside, she found her parents on the couch doing unspeakable things. The craziest thing too was that the mom was wearing a school uniform. I'm sorry. But yeah, if I was to give advice to OP in this situation, I just talk to him, man. Tell him how you feel about it, you know? Thank you for venting to us and thank you for making us aware of the situation. I don't think you're overreacting, and I think it's more than okay for you to feel that hurt with him, but you need to have a transparent and honest conversation with this man about how you feel, because I'm sure his side of the story will help you understand where he's coming from, why he did that, and then next birthday, you know, maybe anniversary cake or his actual birthday next year, he will know to give you the first slice of cake to validate you. Unfortunately, we do not live inside your heads and hear your every thought, so telling him is the best thing to do. And now, onto the updates. Hi everyone, thank you for all the kind comments. Me and my boyfriend have very different energy spans, so I usually leave hangouts a lot earlier than him, which is what happened today. So I left, posted the story on Reddit, took a shower, and started to paint my nails. About 3 hours after I left, my boyfriend calls me. I pick up and he is sobbing. I notice he does not have Reddit and he does not speak English, so he didn't know about the post, and I had not talked about my feelings with him yet. So he calls me absolutely pouring, saying he was going home and he has had the best day of his life, that he loves me so much for doing this for him, and spends the next 15 minutes talking between sobs about all the effort that I put into the birthday celebration, thanking me for every single one of the things I did. Then he mentioned the cake slice. He said that to me throughout his entire life, because he's always had birthdays in his mum's houses, he had never given a first slice to his best friend, who went through all of that with him, and that me being empathetic enough to let him do this was honestly one of the most special things I have ever done for him. He told me she had been going through some very important stuff, and he was not around ever because of work and college, and she was feeling very left behind because of this, which is a huge thing since they are basically brother and sister, so the cake made her cry so much. It was the first time that he had ever done this, and she finally felt like he had not forgotten about her. And then, because I made that much effort for him, he asked me to rest. He told me that this next week was going to be entirely for him to show me appreciation. He asked me to please, for once, not sabotage him showing me love and pampering me because I feel like I don't deserve it. Because he was going to take his savings to take me out and spend the week giving me surprises. I know him well enough to expect some love notes, him showing up to surprise me at my place, and maybe even a song written for me. He also invited me to spend the weekend at his place, just the two of us. He lives with his family and they're all going to the beach, leaving the house empty, so that he can cook me dinner and give me one of his 1 hour long full body massages. They are my favorites. Then after he said all that, I took the opportunity to tell him how I felt about today. He listened quietly, and when I was finished, he apologized, saying that he didn't realize that was how I felt, that was not his intention. He just thought that it didn't mean as much to me as it would have meant for his best friend, so he decided to honor her that way and then honor me differently with my Princess Week. But he told me he understood how I felt and that he was sorry anyway. We talked a bit more, but we got over that stuff pretty quickly, and it all ended with us gossiping about the day, because gossip? 2 friends of ours who don't really get along very well apparently went home together and half drunk after I left. Man, I love gossip. Well, friends, I suppose that's my update. Maybe this is the day that Reddit realizes that emotions are complicated and life is too. Which is why small moments do not define a relationship or someone's feelings. How we react to the situation and deal with it does. I love my boyfriend, and he loves me a lot too, and that does not mean that he does not have any found family beyond me. That also does not mean that I'm not allowed to feel sad. I have the right to feel what I feel, and to be welcomed in that feeling, being validated. I will marry this man, mark my words. Anyway, guys, that's where I'm going to end today's episode. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!